Welcome everyone to our Thursday, May 19th regular City Council meeting. And call to order. Can we have a roll call, Madam Clerk?
Janet Alexander.
Here.
Dean Kirkpatrick.
Here.
James DeVito.
Here.
Ken Pownall.
Here.
Laney Balance.
I'm here.
Quorum.
All right. Pledge of allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
Under God.
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we've got an agenda.
Move to approve. Go second. Second.
All right, additions. No, James?
Will we be addressing the issues that Mayor Pate has on the agenda?
I believe I don't have that much information on them, and I would probably refer that and defer those to when Mayor Pate comes back.
So which items would those be, please?
The deer hunt update. Black Bass Dam update. We have an ordinance on the land bank that I think everybody has, and I think our city attorney has worked on, and also our finance director. And the update on the public restrooms maintenance should have been taken off to begin with.
Not according to the mayor. He approved this.
No, because he hasn't hired anybody yet.
Somebody is hired. No, we can defer it though until next week and let him make that decision, or in 2 weeks.
Sir,
So, yes, ma'am.
there's also number 2 under unfinished.
And I don't think there's anything from the Planning Commission on that. So, as far as I know, or I haven't seen anything. So that would be deferred.
So what numbers are postponed?
2, 3, 6, 10.
Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
Number 7.
I think we have some information from that with Mr. Fennell.
Okay.
We can do that.
Did I miss?
It'll be a short update we did have a workshop, so.
Right.
Anything else? Yes, sir.
Is there any particular reason why the 2 nominees for commission positions aren't on the agenda for tonight?
I have no idea, sir.
I know based on our past conversations, we won't be able to add it, even though I think it should be on there. I was just curious if there was a particular reason.
I agree. It's always been on our agenda before, and I did not prepare the agenda, so I don't know.
I can address that.
Well, it's not on the agenda, so I just saying leave it. I mean, that's it. I mean, if we want to add something from one of the people, but I think the mayor put those on there, so we can address that at our next meeting. Nobody's going to be hurt by waiting 2 weeks. Any other items? Motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so moved. Approval of the minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any errors, corrections, additions? Ms. Balance?
Under planning, application for panning.
Ah, thank you.
And that's all.
In the minutes on page 1?
Yes, page 1 under planning,
Okay.
the last paragraph. It
Okay.
was noted that this person had withdrawn her application for panning.
Oh, panning, I'm sorry. Okay, thank you. Any other? All right, motion to approve as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. I notice we do have a planning representative here. Jim, you have a report or anything you want to?
Not directly from planning, no.
Not directly?
I'll be speaking in public comments to something we're dealing with. Just come up. I won't
Okay.
be able to stay for the meeting. I have another appointment, so we'll address it.
All right. With CAPC, Joanne, I talked to her, and as everyone knows, we are in the process of soliciting applications for a new director. I think the application deadline, we haven't made it formal, but it should be at the end of the month, end of this month. We have, for your information, 69 or 70 applications, and they're still coming in from as far away from Virginia, Kentucky, to as close as Eureka Springs. So we're getting a wide range of applications. So it'll be interesting to go through that process. Also, I think, actually, I think that's about it right now, as far as I know. Yes, sir.
I wonder if, since we're on the CAPC, if there's any information on Auditorium Committee?
Ms. Alexander, would you want to address that?
Would you like for me to make a short report?
Sure.
Would you like for me to?
No, you're.
Okay. At this point, I've put together two factions that will be working together. If you read the paper this week, there was a nice little outline, and what I've done is created basically a creative committee, and then a committee to do the hard work in putting together the real facts and figures of the program. The creatives will be doing a lot of brainstorming of a program that I've used in many different instances for many years, and working with brainstorming in corporate groups, and we're going to use those tactics. And then I'll take it to what I call the leaderboard, set up of a group from in town who have dealt with the auditorium for many years, know its ins and outs, problems. Folks like Ron Sumner, Mike Bishop, folks who've really been with us and worked in town and know, how Eureka handles the tourism trade and the auditorium in general. Small groups that can get things done quickly. There will be a total of 4 meetings, and at the end of the 4 meetings, there will be a report written, and it'll be finished in November and delivered to the CAPC and to the council.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Any other questions? Parks, I think we have a brief letter from the parks. Has everybody got that in their mailbox? Did I have a chance to read it? Would you like for me to read it out loud for you guys?
Please.
To Dear Mayor and City Council, the rubber playground mulch has been ordered and should be delivered next Tuesday. We'll be having local pea gravel delivered also. The pea gravel will be the majority of the surfacing. The rubber will be used for ADA compliant paths. The surveillance system, the components of the surveillance systems are beginning to arrive. Along with the parks employee, I will be taking tests in order to become a certified installer. Cost for the course is $1,000. This is coming out of the parks budget and will enable the city to install more of these systems as we see fit without paying an outside company to install. Sincerest regards, Bruce Levine. And hospital report. Anybody? I don't think we have anybody here for the hospital. And Mr. Fugate, you want to make a cemetery report for us?
Ken Fugate, Cemetery Commission Chair this year. We're doing a couple things. First, I want to let you know that the May 6th Visions tour out at the cemetery, as far as I was concerned as the commissioner, and Mary Ann, commissioner, also attended. It was wonderfully done, very tasteful, and it was very nice. We had a meeting the following Monday, a week ago, and the museum reported back that because of low attendance and stuff, that they most likely will be canceling the May weekends. Now, I have not heard what happened, how things went last Friday. So as of now, it's only the October. Another thing we're working on right now is about 5 or 6 years ago, we had a survey of the cemetery property done. We can find it, so we're out looking for it. And I'm on the search with Gordon Gerald Farmer, I believe, who probably did the survey. I've been unable to contact him. His phone does not answer, or it's very poor reception. But I'm going to follow through with the ladies across the hall, and if I have to go to Berryville, I'll do that. But we need a copy of that survey. And also, the city mechanic has come out and fixed our lawnmower, as reported last council meeting. At the museum tour last week, I reported to the mayor himself that it works for about an hour. So I'm going to turn over my time to Tom Reynolds, our maintenance person, who knows all about it. And basically what it does is it works for an hour and then it dies for a half hour or so. And I'd like to know as chair, so I can report back to the rest of the commission, every time the city mechanic comes out, is it costing, is the commission being charged, or is it just parts, or is it parts and labor, or what? Because that was never really discussed, I don't think. We were never told. So I'm going to be following up with that and find out, maybe Yvonne can help me or so. So any questions about the cemetery? We're in the process of replacing all of our signs and block numbers out there, but that's going to be a fall project. We're going to try to get the school involved, the workshop involved, and if that falls through, we'll try some other alley to bark up. But everything's going fine. Any questions for? Yes, ma'am.
Kind of signs, wooden, metal?
Right now we have
Stamp.
wooden, and that's what we've had for years. They do fall apart, they bleach and decay.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to try to get the lumber donated. We'd love to go with more permanent signs.
Mm-hmm.
When we get to the street signs, it's been the commission's intentions for years to kind of put something up that's similar to the street signs here in town.
That's what I was.
And we've already checked into that, but it's very costly. So we're trying to get a smaller version of it.
Have you communicated with the Preservation Society?
No, we have not.
You might want to do.
To see if they could help
Yeah.
fund it. Yeah, that's a good idea. But that's where we are, and they're going to replace it with wood. Okay? They're going to replace it temporarily with wood, and right now we're only going to go with block numbers.
Okay.
And not the street signs. Any other questions, comments? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to turn it over just for a moment to Tom.
As Mr. Fugate said, the mower is running, but only for short periods of time. We run for about an hour, and something electronic in the mower itself shuts it down. And you can try to start it for about 30, 45 minutes, and it won't start. Walk away and come back, and it'll start. Jim, the mechanic, came out and ran it for about 2 hours and couldn't get it to die on him. But on a constant mowing, especially this time of season, anytime it's not raining, you need to be on the mower and mowing. And I have declined from calling Jim, the mechanic, out there because it's going to be another 3-4 hours to a day to downtime that I need to be out mowing, even though I'm losing 30, 45 minutes at a time when it shuts itself down. We've got to keep mowing, or it's going to be up over our eyes in just no time. There's 43 acres of grass growing right now as we speak, and it's getting more and more difficult to keep up with it. Yes.
Is this coming with repair parts every time he's coming out?
Repair parts if he can find the problem.
Okay. Is this Jim who
I can't
I think
remember.
he's with Public Works.
is Public Works? Jim who's working with Reese and the guys at fire?
I think
Yes,
so.
yes.
Okay, so it's taking time away from him working on our vehicles who are falling apart at the fire department too.
He's the city mechanic. so he
Okay.
works on all of it,
He works on everything, trolleys too.
except for the
Except for the trials.
public works.
Oh, he
department.
doesn't. That's right. They have their own. Okay. Okay.
Basically, that's all I really have is to keep you aware of what's going on out there.
All right.
Thanks, Tom. Public comments? We have somebody sign up, unless you want to get the clipboard.
There was a lady.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's getting
Just a moment. Jim Morris. Jim Morris. We'll get you.
Hi, I'm Jim Morris. I live on Wall Street in Eureka Springs. I am a member of the Planning Commission. I am not here representing the Planning Commission. I'm speaking as a citizen. There's an item on your agenda that you postponed last meeting till this meeting, and I have another commitment tonight, so I wanted to say what I had to say about that. If public comments, it has to do with the pop-off valve on the sewage lines. I did hear a comment from somebody that represents the city in some capacity this past week that sometimes we have to think for citizens when they don't want to think for themselves. This isn't Russia, folks. We're not in a socialist country. Let us think for ourselves a little bit and think this thing through. First of all, the cost that was represented to you guys was not realistic. It's going to be, if you have a plumber come out and install this thing, you're talking a minimum of $150. And it can be up to $250 depending on whether you can locate your sewer or not. If they have to dig down and put in a T into this line, you can look at $2,000 and up if you have to get a backhoe in, or if it's on a hill slope. They say it needs to be done by the work I've seen says you have to have a licensed plumber. It's simply a screw out a thing and screw one in if there's an existing T and a riser there for a clean out. Why do you have to have a certified plumber come out and screw something in that's on top of the ground? Is this really a necessity we're looking at? There's been a couple of places it probably is. Is there an alternative we can do to this thing? And who does it benefit? And who does it create a hardship for? So before you do anything, really look at some of these questions. And secondly, when this thing pops off, if my house is up here, my neighbor's down here, and the sewage runs into his yard because the city is flushing the sewer line, is the city going to be responsible to make a report of spilled sewage? Is that my problem? Who's going to be responsible for the costs involved for that? So putting one of these things in doesn't just solve the problem. It can create more problems than you're really looking at. So really look at this thing, because if you spill sewage, you got to make a report. Who's going to make that? Who's going to be responsible? So there's a lot of things you need to really look at. I don't know if you're going to discuss that tonight. It's still on your agenda, but and then they say, well, it's up to the building inspector's interpretation where this is needed or not. That's ridiculous. We won't always have the same building inspector. The one we have now is a certified plumber. So he's going to look at it from a plumber's point of view. The next guy might not think it's necessary. So if we do have some kind of a regulation on this, let's make it absolute and consistent so it's the same no matter who's in office. Not the same for every citizen. Some of the people do not need this. If you are above the sewer line with your house, there's absolutely no value in putting that thing in. It'll never pop. It'll never happen. It's creating an expense that is absolutely unnecessary, and it does nothing if you're above the sewer line that you're connected to. The other thing that I've talked to some of the real estate people, this could cost up to $2,500 when you sell a property if there isn't one of these on there. If the old lines aren't equipped with a clean out, that means getting a backhoe in, digging down, putting this thing in. So one of the provisions they had was if you sell property, that's the time to do it. That is also ridiculous if it's not needed. So look these things over, and where there's an obvious problem, it's probably a good idea. It could save a lot of headaches. But just think of the downhill neighbors if that pops off. If you're down here for somebody and their sewer pops, you're going to have raw sewage all over your yard. Who's going to be responsible for that? So as you address that, I think is the second item on your agenda tonight. And if you don't, when something comes from a commission that's also studying it, look at it. There's a whole lot more to this than just saying, let's pass a regulation that takes care of it. You're probably going to create a bigger problem by passing that regulation, the way the sewer lines run in this city, than if you just left it alone or look at specific places there that might need it. So, as I say, I'm speaking as a citizen. There's a lot of places that don't need this. My business was building for many years. I'm a retired builder and developer. And I think it's a good idea. If I'm down below a sewage line, I want that there, and I want a place for the raw sewage to run. So if you do have this go in, you're going to have to put it also a mandatory sump for the raw sewage to run if it does pop. So think about this before we jump into making a regulation about it. There's a whole lot deeper than you think. Thank you for your time.
One more. May I
It's just
ask-
public comments. We don't
Oh,
respond.
I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, good evening. My name is Lisa Price Bax. I am a concerned citizen, and I happen to be a resident of Berryville. And I happen to be on the Carroll Boone Water District. And recently, Senate Bill 359 was mandated and signed into law by our Honorable Governor Mike Beebe as Act 197. And it states that, I will summarize real quick, an act to provide for certain water systems to maintain a level of fluoride to prevent tooth decay and for other purposes. And it's required for water systems 5,000 population or more to be required to fulfill this after July of this year. I took time out of my busy day to go over to the Carroll Boone Water District meeting on April 21st and ask a variety of questions and meet with the Board of Directors and with their engineering firm, Matt Goodwin, Williams, and Yates. And folks, you can take time and energy to surf the web, and there's thousands of hours of notable researched information out there. Google fluoridealert.org for starters. But I did approach the district and I said, let's take a common sense approach. Why don't we talk about it in public discussion first? Let's do a moratorium before we really enact this. How about country of origin labeling? Do you know, through research, I found out that 60% of fluoride is industrial byproduct waste, and 60% of that is coming from China and Japan. We can't trust particularly China. We had that melamine scare a few years back. We've had the BPA in our infant bottles, infant formula bottles. How can we make this accountable? I asked the district to hold their vendors accountable. And thusly, the districts should be accountable to the customers whom they serve, which are the sister cities. Do you know, at the time when I visited with the district, we were just ballparking the actual number of usage per customer at approximately 29,000. Well, guess what? I went online and I found a CDC Gov website called My Water's Fluoride, All Water Systems with Source Totals. Carroll Boone Water District, 2008 statistics. Remark, total population for water source, 34,397. That was back in 2008. Well, when the 2010 census comes along, it's going to be greater. It even serves Cottonwood Water Association, Alpena Waterworks, Harrison Waterworks, Berryville Waterworks, Aquarius, Eureka Springs OCM, Eureka Springs Waterworks, Green Forest Waterworks, Compton Waterworks, Southwest Boone County Water Association, total Carroll Boone Water District. Folks, it's time to get serious with this. We can hold our district, their feet to the coals, and make them accountable, as well as their engineering firm. Yes, we could do a constitutional amendment, but that would have to be a statewide ambition. And there is time constraint there. But you need to take the time and energy yourselves to investigate. Why did the city of Fairbanks, Alaska, do a one-year study of the report of the Fairbanks Fluoride Task Force? They had individual, well-renowned chemists and scientists and a physician MD and a dentist research this. And in their long-term analysis, they said, you know, this maybe is not such a good thing. We don't need this. And so they decided to deny the use of further fluoride in their district. The long-term effect is my major concern. Where is the education going to come from? I have been in the nursing field for a long number of years, and my concern is who is going to educate these young parents that they shouldn't provide fluoridated water in their infant formula to their young infant children? Who is going to monitor such as kidney dialysis patients or patients who are debilitated with long-term illnesses such as diabetes, which eventually leads into kidney disorder or failure? Who's going to monitor their ingestion of possibly this industrial-grade by-waste product of China? So there's a lot to consider. And let's ask ourselves one simple question, folks. Why? Why do we have to mass medicate a certain said few population base? Well, I thank you. It is a toxic world. Study, research, and I plan to go to Harrison next week to talk to their city council. I've already attended Alpena and put some ideas out there to them, and I hope to maybe possibly go to Green Forest and Berryville as well. But guys, you have a responsibility to your constituents. Think about it. Have the district be accountable. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to the first item of unfinished business is discussion of domestic fowl ordinance with the Planning Commission. Have a motion to discuss?
So moved. You'll jump in with a second.
Second.
Only the mayor's supposed to ask for that, right?
So we have a discussion on this? Yes, sir, Mr. Fennell.
Well, according to the minutes we just approved, last meeting Mrs. Blankenship stated that she was going to be taking this ordinance back to planning. In the meantime, I don't know if everyone got it, but there was an email sent to all of us in regards to the 16